She just is a rare talent. I remember interviewing her when she first started. She was going with Brad Paisley, and it was she was just so amazing.
Here's our very first band for Rose Parade 2022, and I figured this parade route is probably familiar to them by now. It's their 5th appearance from Homewood, Alabama. It's the Homewood High School Patriot Band. Let's take a listen. Looking good, and right behind the banner that they're carrying, they have the names marked of the seniors who did not get to play in the parade this year, last year because they missed out. So that's a nice way to honor them.
Oh, wonderful. What a great way to honor those who probably waited a lifetime to do this.
And now they're walking down Colorado Boulevard with them symbolically. This is a big band. It's the largest high school band in the state, one of the largest in our parade. The first from Alabama to ever participate in the Rose Parade, in fact. And that was in 1984.
Yeah, and by the way, just a quick note, if you'd rather not listen to Oz give commentary, you want to listen to who would ever want to do that. No, but we invite you to listen to the band up close, and you can do that by going to our Facebook Live Bandcamp, if you will. It is facebook.com/KTLA5. There you will hear just the music up close and full. And I know there's a lot of parents out there of these band members that want that. So
they work all year long for this, and we try to give as much time as we can. And on Bandcamp, we will not interrupt the music, because this band looks spectacular. They sound great. They are proud to be here on a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day.
Southern California.
You know, you're about to, when you have a band that big, there's going to be some kind of unusual occurrences. Well, listen to this. There are 10 members of this band whose parents marched in this parade back in 1984. There are also 4 sets of twins and a set of triplets. And we shall mention also that the assistant director, Ryan Mitchell, marched in this parade almost 20 years ago, back in 2003. Boy, they're big and they are bold and they are here.
The crowd is appreciating them too, as we just kick things off. Lisa Gibbons and Mark Stein is with you. So happy to spend the very first day of 2022 with you, direct from Pasadena and the Rose Parade.
Coming around the corner, Honda. American Honda, a proud sponsor of the Tournament of Roses, bringing us an inspiring depiction of this year's theme. It is a young woman, you see her there, with her eyes on the skies, and she's been busy. She's built her own rocket pack to take her way up there in the sky with Believe and Achieve. Our future space traveler has dreams of becoming an astronaut. Stargirl is her name, and her golden complexion comes from cinnamon, paprika, and many, many other spices. She's donned her blue and purple status shirts and coveralls this morning with the launch. And her homemade rocket pack, Lisa, is decorated with silver leaf, white rice, cranberry, and flax seeds. And it's propelled by carbon dioxide, CO2, different references that in Swiss cheese, the little holes are created by CO2. This random, I'll give you random facts as we go along.
We count on you for it. Beautiful float as always from our sponsor, Honda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, the stories that we talked about, there's so many individual stories on those floats.
We say good morning to our nation's armed forces who are watching today around the globe via AFN, the American Forces Network. Great to have you along. Thanks for your service. And this is the 5th appearance in the Rose Parade for Nancy Harvey with the Arabian Horse Association. Arabians, as Mark, you no doubt know, because you know all things horses, the oldest and only true purebred horses in the world. And they are so valued. In fact, in ancient times, they often lived in the same tent with their owners. And if it came down to it, most people in that day would protect the horse over their houses. A lot of people still feel that way. These are beloved animals. Versatility is the watchword for these horses. They're right at home with endurance or short rides, as well as performing in show rings. One of the things that Mark and I talk about that we value so much, though, about Arabians is they provide comfort and confidence as therapy horses for veterans who are suffering from PTSD.
Yeah, the horse therapy program is so important, so important. As our next one is, we have our first Judges Trophy winner for Most Outstanding Float Design and Dramatic Impact. This is called a school book about this is a school book about the Amazon, and it's been inspired by this trip to a tropical rainforest. It's courtesy of Sierra Madre's Rose Float Association, who emphasizes the importance of preserving and protecting our very precious planet. This is called Nature's Classroom. Wow, that is just stunning.
So pretty. Let me give you some detail, if I may. Perched atop a pair of K-pop trees, a keel-billed toucan and a toko toucan greet us there. This colorful duo is decorated with black tea leaves, lemon and lime lined, bachelor button mums, and marigold petals. And by the way, the keel-billed toucan's the one with the unusually colored beak there. This lush habitat also features a trio of endangered frogs, a pair of lizards, and assorted butterflies. Those frogs are just 3 of 466 different endangered frog species. Thank you, Sierra Madre, and congratulations.
And here in band that was slated to appear in last year's canceled Rose Parade. We are thrilled to have them this year under the direction of Laura Blake. This is the Bands of America Honor Band. Let's take a listen thanks to our friends at Honda. If the name Bands of America sounds familiar, that's because they're the sponsors of yearly national marching band competition of the same name. And they are all-inclusive. Every state is represented here with more than 300 student musicians in this group. 2022 marks their 5th Rose Parade appearance, and in 2009 they were part of the President's Award-winning float from NAM, the National Association of Music Merchants. And by the way, those musicians who were supposed to appear in last year's canceled Rose Parade were invited back this year with no audition required. So it is great to see opportunity has been preserved. The Bands of America Honor Band.
This is an award winner. It takes the Director Trophy with a salute to one of television's most beloved and longest running shows. RFD Mutual of Omaha presents Wild Kingdom. If you ask me, this was one of the best educational shows and entertaining shows in the history of TV. Marlon Perkins, just a legend. He hosted the show for 25 years. And there is the current host, Peter Gross, keeping an eye on a menagerie of beasts from the jungles, the frozen tundra, and the oceans. This is a beauty.
Yes, they paid so much attention to the fine detail to try to get the colors just right. Like this, for example, this line is decorated with fluffy brown pampas grass, corn silk, and red palm fiber. An animated elephant, which you'll see on that float, with a Spanish moss and brown coffee hide. And there is a pair of animated giraffes with brown buffalo grass, and bronze straw flower spots. We also find a polar bear made of cotton, and a wolf from the frozen tundra you spoke of. And in a nod to our oceans, there's a whale and a couple of sharks swimming around with the fishes.
And I think you can see in the back there, those are floragraphs, and they are in tribute to Marlon Perkins and also the late Jim Fowler, who co-hosted this amazing show. So happy to see that float.
Well, if there was an award for the cutest equestrian group, crowd favorite, hands down, hoofs down. From nearby Calabasas, California, we welcome the mini therapy horses back to the parade. I just adore this group. The therapeutic capacity of these little equines has been well documented. They bring comfort, joy, some hope to all those who are in need, whether you're young or whether you're old, wherever you are in America. They make weekly visits to Los Angeles Veterans Hospital. Another favorite visiting spot is Shriners for Children's Medical Center right here in Pasadena. You know, these minis are also an integral part of the Los Angeles crisis relief team, and they are on call whenever they're needed.
This is a real pretty one for you here, taking center stage. Here's a trio of books, each depicting the amazing worlds of knowledge that lie within. This is called Reading, It's an Adventure. It's from the Downey Rose Float Association, one of our self-built groups. They make it a year-long project, do such a good job. A smoke-spewing rocket seems to be flying right off the pages of a book about space. Meanwhile, a pair of playful tigers has sprung from the book all about tigers, and from undersea adventure, a turtle tries to keep up with a mini sub that's exploring the ocean floor. Beautiful colors. These are roses and orchids and anthuriums, heliconia.
And this design is not just the floral part, it's the storytelling.
It's the story and the execution of the theme. They were supposed to be in the parade last year, too. I know you're hearing that already a lot. When it was canceled, but the message, the importance of reading and education, really works in with the Achieve Dreams theme as well. Very timeless. And congratulations to Alexis Gibbons, who was on the float there. She designed that and did a good job.
There he is. He skyrocketed to fame portraying Kunta Kinte in the TV miniseries Roots. He has been at the top of his game ever since. LeVar Burton, he is the Rose Parade Grand Marshal for 2022. Tournament President Bob Miller says LeVar personifies this year's theme of dream, believe, achieve. As the host of Reading Rainbow. Oh, he's jumping in the car, I see. Thought he was in the car. Oh, is he jumping on? Oh. Did he miss his ride?
Yeah, he had a private escort from that opening number, which we were so happy that he did for us. Can't think of a better way to welcome the parade than with that voice.
I know. He's a busy guy. Who knows? He was probably working on his podcast right about then, which is called LeVar Burton Reads. But, remember, Reading Rainbow, for 26 years, he was part of that.
Right, you are.
Yeah, he is.
He's an actor. He's a director. He is, as you said, a podcaster. And I think a lot of people know him from his character, Geordi LaForge from Star Trek, The Next Generation. And he is continuing with producing a lot of really good things. The latest project, I'm kind of excited about this. He's developing a TV show based on the board game Trivial Pursuit. LeVar will be the host and the executive producer. But now, he is the Grand Marshal of our Rose Parade.
Yes. Oh, and now he's getting a microphone. Are we going to hear a word from him? Let's see. When he may be just saying hello to his fans, which he has numerous fans from all around the world because of, because he has been supportive of literacy and programs so vital.
They're setting him up, and now we're going to hear from our Grand Marshal. Take it, LeVar Burton.
LeVar is an actor, director, podcaster, and lifelong children's literacy advocate, known for his involvement with
Ultimate professional. He didn't miss a beat.
Right.
Waiting for his cue.
He's waiting. He's checking his mic. Is this thing on? Test one.
Happy New Year! Good morning, Pasadena! Happy New Year!
He's got 147 countries listening now.
the UPS store.
Yeah, there's about 40 million people waiting on his words if he's just going to, I think he's probably just going to be wishing everybody Happy New Year.
You guys, the UPS store has done it, pulling off a three-peat by winning its third consecutive sweepstakes trophy for most beautiful entry. That encompasses float design, floral presentation, and entertainment. Say hello to the scholarly rooster, passing along the joys of reading to his family of chicks on Rise, Shine, and Read. This year's entry from the UPS store. Reading is, of course, a fundamental element of this year's parade theme. Dream, believe, achieve. This is the tallest float in the parade today. You can bet all eyes are on this 35-foot tall rooster and his magnificent plumage. It was created out of multiple colored straw flower confetti, a variety of seeds, coconut, and orchid florets. He's proud as a papa. Congratulations to the UPS store.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. In 2022, drive strong from start to finish all year long. Happy New Year from Goodyear, more driven.
220 members strong. Here is the largest marching band in the San Diego School District, the Mira Mesa High School Sapphire Band. Let's listen in for just a moment. Well, the band has paused here on the parade route, but we'll tell you that the members of the Sapphire sound study, work, and play by three very inspirational mottos, all coined by their director, Jay Christensen. They call her Mrs. C, by the way. These are the mottos: passion in performance, never give up, and make a difference. And of course, if we mention Mrs. C, we have to mention the assistant director, Matthew Mulvaney. He is known as Mr. M.
Okay, thank you, Ms. C and Mr. M.
And you
So
would be
who would you be?
and I'd be Mr. S. So, Micah, I see that float is still sitting there.
Yeah, all 35 feet of it. It's beautiful. Again, a sweepstakes trophy winner. Look at that, how brilliant that is in the sunshine. And their timing couldn't be better. The sun is just coming up over the ridgeline here and lighten this thing up. It's a beauty. Get this, 14,000 pounds. That's how much this float weighs. And as you see, in all its glory, an impressive amount of animation on this entry. In fact, there is a separate 6-cylinder engine that is being used exclusively to drive all that animation, and more than 60,000 red roses surrounding the base. Lisa, I know you take particular pride in counting every rose in this parade. Well, I just gave you a tip. There's 60,000, so that's, a little head start for you.
It's true. People are always saying, well, how many roses? How many roses? There are 18 million in all throughout the floats. And for one float, typically they will use more floral material than the average florist uses in 5 years.
I really have to have compassion for your husband, Stephen, because if he could impress you with flowers on Valentine's Day, he needs to bring it, right?
He needs to bring
Because
it.
you're like,
It's a lot of pressure.
18 billion roses, honey, that I see every year.
We want to tell you, as we recognize all of the, especially the young people who work so hard and are so proud to be in this parade, the young men and women who carry the banners proclaiming each float, you'll see them. They are members of the Tournament of Roses, Eagle Scout, and Gold Award Girl Scouts troops. I hope that their parents are recording this and very proud of what they're doing. We know that we are. Happy New Year to them. And I understand, Mark, this year they had the first graduating class of female Eagle Scouts, which is a step in the right direction.
Well, I want to jump back to something because Micah had said this is a 35-foot float. It tends to be on the shorter side, but if you go back in history, the longest float in the parade's history was 2014's Honda entry. It was called Keeping Dreams on Track. It measured a whopping 274 feet long. Its tallest point, or the tallest one they had, was about 100 feet tall. I mean, there's not much distance between that and the flyover at that point. It was Disney's Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. That was back in 2004.
As they're looking at moving back there on the boulevard, let me tell you how these floats are judged. Yeah, listen to the crowd. They're like, okay, yes, let's get it going. Their band's backed up here. Horses are waiting to come around the corner.
That's LeVar yelling.
But they are judged by a select panel of judges. They have the very difficult task of getting out the trophies, and they fall into 3 categories, and we'll be announcing the winners. That one, as you know, is the three-peat winner of the sweepstakes from the UPS store. Their float design, which encompasses overall design, animation, and representation of the parade theme. And we do love Bob Miller's theme this year. Dream, believe, achieve.
The blue team, as we see them come by our location, made its debut actually back in 1916. They haven't been here every year, obviously, but they did make their first appearance back then, and we are so glad that they have come back to spend this morning with us, the first day of 2022.
Close-ups here of the blue team as we hear their sound. street. It's called School Rocks. It's from the city of Alhambra, which is marking its 93rd Rose Parade, and it's a winner of the Tournament Volunteer Trophy. These volunteers are so precise and so proud of each blossom and each seed that goes on these floats. This one was designed by 6th grader Jack Sherman. Great job, Jack. There is your entry going down the parade route right now. This is a funky school bus that's been given a coat of mums and straw flower in shades of yellow and orange. It's been chopped and lowered and given a set of racing slicks. And it's equipped with a motor that really rocks, as you can see. The chrome blinged air on the bumper's exhaust and rocket engine is a blend of silver leaf, lettuce, and onion seed. And congrats on winning that volunteer award.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Here comes one of our favorites, a crowd favorite as well. I think they would agree. Happy New Year to the United States Marine Corps Mounted Color Guard. They are being marshaled this year by Sergeant Amy Polachek, the first female to lead this group. They are based at the Marine Corps Logistics Base in Barstow, California. This is the last remaining mounted unit in the Corps. So soak it in. They're so important. The Color Guard, by the way, was created in 1967. It was in an effort to engage the Barstow community, participate in local events there, and also help with the recruitment effort.
The only equestrian unit that carries the flag in the Rose Parade is this, the Color Guard. And a lot of these Marines don't have a lot of experience, but they get highly trained and they're very proud of that distinction.
Observance of the 20th anniversary of 9/11 in 2021, the Tournament of Roses is saluting America's perseverance with a stunning banner being proudly carried down our parade route by the young Marines. This is a nod to all first responders, rescue workers, firefighters, police officers, and military personnel who continuously work to serve and protect America. The young Marines, a group of young people aged 8 through high school who are learning moral, mental, and physical skills. They've been around since 1959 when a group of Marines in Connecticut created the organization as a way to teach the youngsters self-discipline and leadership skills. And I must say, mission accomplished. Saluting America's perseverance, the young Marines.
And providing the perfect soundtrack, Micah, for this presentation, here is the U.S. Marine Corps West Coast Composite Band. You see salutes from the crowd, a lot of appreciation. Perennial crowd favorite consisting of Marine musicians from the 1st Division Marine Band, Camp Pendleton, the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing Band from Miramar, and the Marine Band San Diego. This is the only event in which all three come together. How impressive they look in their dress blues. And all these Marine musicians are battle trained. In fact, most recently, members of the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing Band provided security for our troops in Afghanistan.
That is the Americana Trophy winner for most outstanding depiction of national treasures and traditions. Trader Joe's neighborhood grocery store got its start right here in Pasadena, California, and they are ringing in the new year with a neighborhood gathering, and it's called You Are Invited. So we're all headed that way to this neighborhood get-together hosted by Trader Joe's Big Cheese, which is crafted from yellow straw flour and orange brown lentil. There's a little something for everyone here. There's treats and fresh fruit, like red straw flour and green tea leaf watermelon. There's even a pizza oven. When it comes up to the side, you'll be able, there's the watermelon and the seeds. They're cooking on top there, huh? You'll see the pizza is in the pizza oven along the side. You saw that coming together on our float too.
That's so creative.
Yeah, and capping it off, you can't have a neighborhood gathering and not have a bottle of bubbly. So there's a little champagne bottle perhaps in the back there.
Beautiful.
Look at that. That's so creative.
We thought we were going to see some fireworks out of there.
There
he
it
comes.
is. A little something.
It all works.
Oh.
Now, riding a top 15 of the most beautiful Palominos you will ever see, coming around the corner next in our parade.
They're little.
Oh, you know what's happening right here? I believe our Palominos are taking a little pause because of the pyrotechnics. Now, it takes a lot to get these horses conditioned to parade, the parade route and the noises and the pops and all the things that go on. And they'll take the experienced horses, you can see they're a little skittish, and they'll train the newbies by putting them side by side with experienced horses. They are quickly getting back into formation here from the Merced County Sheriff's Posse, and off they go. This posse was organized in 1948, has served as Merced County's Goodwill ambassadors at charity events and throughout the area. This is another of the many groups that we talk about giving back to their community. They visit schools, they teach kids the fine point of horsemanship and really the character building, I think, that goes with it. Definitely one of the top 10 best dressed equestrians. These riders are clad in uniforms created by the late legendary Western outfitter Nudie Cohn. In fact, they used to call them nudie suits. I don't know if they still do. Vintage Western with red, green, and gold trim and encrusted with literally hundreds of rhinestones.
Boy, I could watch them all day long. All right, so how do you Rose Parade? Let us know on Instagram using the hashtag Rose Parade, if you would. We'd like to see how you're celebrating this first day. All right, this is the winner of the Extraordinaire Trophy for Most Extraordinary Float. Donate Life is an amazing nonprofit organization that links organ donors with recipients. Their beautiful float, Courage to Hope is what it's called. It serves as a reminder of how important it is to be a donor. It's set against the backdrop of Piazza in Venice, Italy. Courage to Hope casts the spotlight on those who are impacted by organ donation, and it honors three groups: recipients, living donors who are walking alongside, and donors who are now no longer with us, but the latter being depicted in those 44 meticulous, you see those right there, meticulously crafted photographs.
Such a meaningful float. Donations, 56% of all adults are organ donors. We love that one. And this band coming around the corner here has appeared in every Rose Parade since 1930. They have a standing invitation to appear every year. It is the Pasadena City College Tournament of Roses Honor Band. And we listen in now thanks to our friends at Carl's Jr. Amazing about this group is they held auditions quite recently, on October 12th, and that gave the incoming new musicians less than 3 months to prepare for today, but apparently they thrive under pressure. They're going to be doing Everything Coming Up Roses, which is their theme song. That's on the playlist, so is It's a Small World, Eagle Squadron March, and Seize the Day from the musical Newsies.
Believe it or not, 93 consecutive years, and they are not the longest one. The Salvation Army was here even longer. But meanwhile, let's look a little bit further down the parade route, or coming around the corner, I should say, is in a Crown Fire Coach fire engine is this year's Tournament of Roses president, Bob Miller. Apparently landed safe and sound after jumping out of that airplane. He's there with his wife, Bob, and their family, including his 91-year-young mother. In 2020, after more than 40 years as an educator, administrator, consultant at Pasadena, Bob retired to fulfill his presidential duties, and little did he know this pandemic would land in his lap. An unprecedented series of events took place, including the cancellation of the parade. And then, in 2022, the bloom is back, and so is Dr. Bob. We're so glad. He was named the tournament president for the second consecutive year, otherwise he would have missed out on it. That hasn't happened, actually, since 1933.
Here is a debut Rose Parade float from the Lundquist Institute of Biomedical Innovation at Harvard UCLA, also one of President Bob Miller's favorites. It features a pair of researchers working on an scientific breakthrough. And here's the twist. They're attempting to achieve the impossible through positivity. And if you put the two together, you get There's also potions bubbling up in those beakers and test tubes thanks to strategically placed strobe lights inside them.
This entry is a hybrid of sorts. It comes to us from the Pasadena Unified School District, features the Pasadena Unified All-Star Band, and that very special jitney bus. This is homegrown talent and global impact.
Changing lives through education.
A lot of homegrown talent on display. Now, a jitney is interesting. I know. Jitney's an old slang term for a nickel. See, back in the day, they were private cars or buses or whatever. They charged passengers 5 cents. And for that, you got a ride in that, so they started calling it a jitney.
Jitney, interesting. By the way, that is a very unique vehicle. It only participates in the Rose Parade and the Doodah Parade. Look it up.
I love that you know that.
Look it up. It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
And the band coming right behind there. Its members were selected from Pasadena Unified's 6 high schools, and they are out there entertaining our crowd today.
A very, very scholarly owl is symbolizing the importance of our next float, that of academics in everyday life, on Rotary's entry, Changing Lives Through Education. Professor Owl's incredibly realistic face was fabricated from black seaweed, orange lentils, split peas, and powdered white rice. His plumage is a blend of palm fiber and coffee, among many other materials. This is one well-informed owl. He's equipped with all the educational tools needed to keep tabs on the world. For example, there are books there made of ground rice. He's got a ruler made of yellow straw flour. And there's an interesting apple globe covered in yellow continents. And of course, it's the ever-present cellular device, which is just there at the bottom. Oh, I think he's got an incoming call.
Ladies and gentlemen, this parade entry is from the group that started us all back in 1890. They are Pasadena's own Valley Hunt Club. These vintage carriages have been beautifully decorated by FTV, who are Rose Parade sponsors. Here's the backstory of how this all began. In 1890, they were having a meeting at the Valley Hunt Club, and Professor Charles Holder and Dr. Francis Rowland said, hey, why don't we have a festival? Why don't we show off our flowers and the oranges that are blossoming here in the winter months and show everybody how great it is on the West Coast? It was a great way to promote real estate, which was undergoing its first growth spurt.
Easy for you to say. Hey, I love this next entry. They are the winner of the Golden State Trophy for Outstanding Depiction of California Lifestyle. We welcome another first. It's Wetzel's Pretzels, their first office was right across the street here from us in Pasadena. And they are saluting the SoCal lifestyle with an accent on the 50s with their float, which is called California Cruisin'.
Whether it's dancing up a storm, enjoying a quiet picnic, or cruising the California coast in a convertible pretzel mobile, listening to that huge boombox, this float has it going on. The Wetzel's Pretzels dancers are cutting it up for you on a blanket of blue status, a yellow split pea. Music provided by a poppy seed, silver leaf, and onion seed covered boombox.
Yes, there really is, by the way, a person named Wetzel. And he and his partner created it, built Alts, back in 1994.
Golden State Trophy winner right there.
Yes.
Okay, there they are, marking their 40th appearance in the Rose Parade as the official heralders of the arrival of the Queen and her royal court. This is the Pasadena City College Herald Trumpets. 9 trumpet players and a single snare drummer were selected out of a group of students from 80 Southern California high schools by director Dr. Kevin Brown. They always announce the Queen, and Mark, she is there.
Yes. Presenting Queen Nadia Chung and the 2022 Tournament of Roses Royal Court. We welcome Her Royal Highness and the princesses, Janine Briggs, Abigail Griffith, Jada Walden, Sweta Samasandra, Kayla Feldman, and Mackenzie Street. There they are. Queen Nadia, a senior in La Cañada High School, dreams of being a civil rights attorney and a journalist. She's currently president of the La Cañada High School debate and speaking team. So she is well on her way, I'm sure. She's surrounded by an amazing court that has lofty aspirations, everything from child psychology to architect and architecture, even cancer research.
this band is near and dear to tournament president Bob Miller's heart. In fact, earlier this year, he became the first tournament president to visit the band at their home base in more than 20 years. We welcome the Salvation Army Tournament of Roses band. While most bands rehearse for months prior to the Rose Parade, these friends of ours love to fly by the seat of their pants. The Salvation Army Tournament of Roses band holds just one rehearsal. Yes, just one rehearsal the week of the parade. I guess that's part of their magic. They are in the moment, and they are wonderful.
That is truly unbelievable, Micah. Lutheran Hour Ministries knows the value of education, and their float, Jesus Teaches, features perhaps the greatest teacher of them all. Set in an idyllic floral wonderland, Jesus is reaching out to 12 modern-day disciples, sitting on tree stumps made of redwood and tan paper bark. He's perched in front of a sheer cliff of white rice and multiple shades of lettuce seed boulders. Crossing the bridge at the front of this entry gives way to a gorgeous outdoor scene as you see there, complete with wildlife and a waterfall. And rushing over the boulders, the floral waterfall is a combination of dark blue and white iris and white dendrobiums.
By the way, this is an interesting fact that I love about the Lutheran Laymen's League. It was founded back in 1917, kind of by accident, when a couple of men found out this church was in debt and they couldn't pay back their debt. So they rallied up, they got a bunch of people together, and they raised enough funds, and from that was born the Lutheran Laymen's League.
Here are the Victorian Roses.
Yes, I love this equestrians. They're well the Victorian age. They started with just 3 riders in 2008. They now have more than 2 dozen. These are, as you said, the Victorian Roses Ladies Riding Society. I could look at them all day. They have such beautiful tack and dress. Their mission is to create a living history and to educate people about what life was like during the Victorian age, specifically back in 1880.
Okay, sports fans, here's one of the teams that will be facing off at the Rose Bowl game later this afternoon. From the Big Ten Conference, dressed in their familiar home red uniforms, here are the Buckeyes of the Ohio State.
That's right. 16th Rose Bowl appearance. They said they had 8 wins, 7 losses. Their quarterback this year led them to a 10-2 record, ranked 6th in the U.S., and was also a Heisman Trophy candidate. He was named Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year. He's young, he's talented, and he's a bright.
With that band, they are loving.
Yes, well, that is the Ohio State Buckeye football team. They're known as the TBDBITL, the acronym for the best darn band in the land. We cleaned that up for you a little bit. They're also known as the Ohio State University Marching Band. Let's listen.
ABC's The Bachelor, a new journey blooms.
So that band, they're known for doing the scripts. Ohio, that is spelling out O-H-I-O in script and then dotting the I with one band member. An interesting side note is there's a huge rivalry between them and Michigan. Michigan was actually the first band to ever do this script. That was back in 1932 when they played against Ohio State. And then I guess it went over well. The two schools are mortal enemies of one another.
We have a brand new float in our parade this year, the first time ever from ABC TV. It's a float-sized version of the Villa de la Vina. That's the mansion that's home to ABC's The Bachelor. This is called A New Journey Blooms. Show host, former football star Jesse Palmer is on hand, reminding us that the upcoming season marks the 20th anniversary of The Bachelor. He's joined, I believe, by Clayton Eckert, The Bachelor from the upcoming season, and it starts on Monday. This villa is so beautiful, it's no wonder people fall in love there. Surrounded by red roses, the symbol of The Bachelor and the Rose Parade. A three-tiered floral fountain is spraying iris and orchid petals, and that is real water coming from the fountains. We'll see The Bachelor Monday night.
Yes. This next group, these horses featured in this group of equestrians are one of the oldest breeds on Earth. Amazingly, their presence has been traced back to the end of the last ice age. They are the Norwegian fjord horses, and these little guys are known for their wonderful temperament. They have an uncanny amount of strength, which make them perfect for therapy horses, assistant animals, also for riding and for doing really heavy-duty farming work. That's their marshal on board, Beth Baylor, showing her riding skill astride the 5 of them. She's very talented.
And this is the winner of the Fantasy Trophy. Just absolutely lovely from Western Asset. They return to the Rose Parade with a nautical adventure. This is Let Your Imagination Be Your Guide. It's a very wise man there who set out to sail the seas of his dreams in a fantasy ship outfitted with straw flower, yellow and red Christmas mums, coffee, and walnut shells. It's also equipped with all the gear he'll need for his voyage: a telescope, compass, spinning globe, and of course lots of books, Mark.
So important.
They are going to be going right by their offices here in Pasadena on Colorado Boulevard. So I'm sure their co-workers and friends will be lined up to wave at them as they go by.
They can check their voicemail when they go by and run in real quick. Let's see.
You're right.
Here are the inductees to the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame class of 2021. Let's welcome Anthony Davis, the former USC Trojan running back. One of his shining moments back in the 70s when he played a game against Notre Dame in which he scored 6 touchdowns. He's joined by former Big Ten Commissioner Jim Delaney, who has brought a lot of innovation to the table, including the BCS and the college football playoff. And our third inductee is Ron Simpkins, who played linebacker for the University of Michigan in the mid-70s. He was a consensus All-American. Congratulations, gentlemen.
All right, here's the team that's going to be taking on Ohio State later this afternoon at the Rose Bowl, representing the Pac-12 Conference, making their very first Rose Parade and Rose Bowl appearance. They are the University of Utah Utes. They started a little tough, 1-2, but they made a change at quarterback. They finished the season. They're 10-3. They beat heavily favored Oregon, not once but twice, proving that they are the real deal. And they're playing the season in honor of 2 players, former players, Ty Jordan and Aaron Love, who lost their lives last year.
And providing the soundtrack for the Utes march down Colorado Boulevard, this is the pride of Utah, the University of Utah Marching Utes. This band moment brought to you by our friends at SoCal Honda Dealers.
AMC Theaters, we make movies better.
They are sure camera ready today. They're sounding great with their voices and their instruments. The Marching Utes had an interesting history. Organized in the 1940s, they disbanded for a while in 1969 and had a lack of funding. But in 76, the band got back together following an intense campaign, and they are sure strong now.
Here's AMC Theaters making their Rose Parade debut with an authentic rendition of one of their luxury movie artists. It's a reminder that the movies are back. Theaters are open once again, and this really sums up their AMC mission. Here is We Make Movies Better.
This float encompasses everything that makes AMC Theaters the leader in the industry. Among the theater's guests are none other than Superman Super Pooch Crypto and his pal Ace from the upcoming movie DC League of Super Pets. Everyone is amazed by that ginormous movie screen. It weighs in at a ton, is accompanied by some big sound, 29,000 watts, and an ultrasound system.
This is the mayor of Pasadena.
Welcome, Victor Gordo. He and his family are cruising down Colorado Boulevard in a pair of extremely rare Pierce Arrows, once from 1915 and the other from 1920. He was elected in November of 2020. He has his wife with him today, Kelly, his son Mark, and his daughter Emma. Born in Mexico, he immigrated to the U.S. with his parents as a young child and is a proud product of the Pasadena Unified School District. He's really dedicated himself to a lifetime of community service. So happy New Year, Mayor.
Right, the winner of the Mayor's Trophy for Most Outstanding Float from a Participating City from the city of Burbank comes this look at a knight in shining armor and a fire-breathing dragon who are the best of friends. They're the perfect depiction of an unlikely tale. With the young lady's pet pooch looking on, these two spend their time reading rather than rumbling. They know dreams come true when you spend time with friends reading together. Isn't that true? Apparently it took a boatload of split peas and green noodle mums to create the scales on that 25-foot tall dragon. Some intricate animation allows his head to move back and forth, his wings to flap, and his tail to move side to side. And young Miss Rita Lott is resplendent in yellow straw flower, and her playful pup's fur is a blend of silver and black buffalo grass and pampas grass.
I have a special place in my heart for this next entry. The Temecula Valley Horsemen Association. We first introduced you to the horsewomen of Temecula wine country, and recently they've expanded their effort of preserving and publicizing the Western way of life that is synonymous with the Temecula Valley. And a word about that community. The wagon that you see there on board with passengers, dear family friends of ours, Bob and Aaron Brown. They're the parents of the late Christopher Brown. Now, Chris was a standout offensive lineman for USC who was a two-time winner of the Offensive Lineman of the Year award. He played a vital part in that big Trojan victory against Penn State in 2016 that went back and forth and back and forth. There's Bob right there. Sadly, Chris passed away this April. He has ceased waving up. He's waving up. Thank you. Yes, I give you a thumbs up too, my friend. That community has supported the Brown family and just put their arms around them. The best therapy Bob says he's had is the horses of that community because they've been so good and such good listeners as he spent time just out at the ranches with them.
Thank you, Temecula. And congratulations to Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day. They win the President's Trophy. This is a whimsical garden scene called Seeding Tomorrow. You'll see there a stylized line lady. I think that represents Mrs. Myers herself, pushing her wheelbarrow. That's a bubble with Mrs. Myers' latest garden-inspired scents. Through the backyard, she's greeted by some happy sunflowers with smiley black bean and yellow mum faces. We've got roses on the float galore, sculpted with multicolor status, white rice, and straw flowers. And of course, as you saw, real water is being circulated from that gray silver leaf watering can. And there's some purple, I don't know if you can see it yet in front of the float, but that is purple kale cabbage, which I always love to see on our float decorations. Really a beautiful entry, and congratulations to Mrs. Meyer, who is, there's a real Thelma Meyer. Her daughter's the one who suggested they create a line of cleaning products and said the only thing is they've got to smell good and they got to be good for the planet. So there you go.
All right, fasten your seatbelts. Get ready for this next band. They're making their way down a parade route. They call themselves the AOB. It is their first appearance in the Rose Parade. Here is the Tennessee State University Aristocrat of Bands. Here they come. Take a listen in just a second. All thanks to Kickin' It, California. Themselves the AOB band, but actually they were called that. So here's the story. The Band of Aristocrats has many firsts. In 1955, they were the first historically black college band to appear on national television during an NFL football game. That was the Rams-Bear game. But in fact, they were dubbed that name by a sportscaster during that performance. They were called the Aristocrat of Bands during that football game, and that's how their name stuck.
Love these performances. These ladies are owning their part of the boulevard.
You know, they have a huge catalog. This is what shows why they're so versatile. Their catalog of music, they play big band jazz, they'll play classical music. They do all the popular arrangements that are so familiar to all of us. It was all put together by Director McDonald and his assistant director, Larry Jenkins. Boy, are they filling up the space here with that sound, huh?
You know, some people live for the band, some live for the horses, some love all the flowers. We love it all. But when the music is being played in front of this audience, it just is magic.
You know, you can tell that they are trying to lay down a really good first impression. That's it. Like, that is probably one of the loudest bands I can remember.
And it makes it feel like a parade, and we are so happy to be back this year. Look at this one, Mark. The colors. It's always a beautiful float from City of Hope. This is the past President Trophy winner. It's a floral masterpiece. As you know, City of Hope is a world-class leader in cancer care, proudly from the city of Duarte. Their float is called Garden of Hopes and Dreams, and it really provides positive inspiration for all of us.
You see those gorgeous native California butterflies catching your eye? All of them, the wings are flapping. They are among the flowers and assorted mushrooms that are found in this beautiful garden, symbolizing hope, rebirth, and renewal that happens every single spring. The butterflies also represent the City of Hope's patients who dream of hope, who dream of rebirth and renewal, of being cancer-free. Following a City of Hope tradition, you will find DNA strands on this float which represent the City of Hope's pioneering research. Strategically placed on this float, 2 of them are in the front with the butterflies, and then if you look in the back, disguised with the mushroom stems, that's the other DNA strands. You'll see that when they come up a little bit later. By the way, research by the City of Hope was key in the development of synthetic human insulin.
So much wonderful work going on that campus.
Yes.
And wonderful work for their float representing City of Hope. That's why they got that past President Trophy that I told you for most outstanding innovation in the use of floral and non-floral materials.
You know, on top of everything else, City of Hope operates its own accredited medical school program. Students who enroll in that can earn degrees, whether it's a PhD in biology or a master's degree in transitional medicine. But it's about educating, it's about researching, and it's about curing. And at the end of the day, it's all about leaving those who struggle with hope and help.
We hope your New Year's Day is shaping up nicely, and so glad that you're spending it with us. The Bloom is back here for the 133rd Rose Parade, presented by Honda. You know, these floats that you see, and they're taking a little stall on the boulevard right now, but they travel about 5 miles. They go at a rate of about 2.5 miles an hour. So the bands are playing, and the people are smiling and waving for a long time.
Yeah. And they make a long journey through the night from the float barns here. So there is sort of a pre-parade. It's dark and it's cold, but they get here to start lining up early.
We all know Louisiana loves a parade. We're joining us for the first time in the Rose Parade with a celebration of the state's
Louisiana, the
spirit
Bayou
and
State.
resilience. This stunning
Lane
float
Hardy
captures
and the Hardy
Louisiana's
Brass
rich
Band. They're
heritage,
about to heat
cuisine,
things up.
music, and the
We'll
outdoors.
take you down now.
Here to feed your soul in our mid-parade spectacular, our 19 Entertainment Buena Vista Records recording artist, Lane Hardy, and the Grammy-nominated Hot 8 Brass Band, performing a brand new rendition of Born on the Bayou.
When I was just a little boy, standing to my daddy, my pop said, son, let the man get you. You knew what he'd done on me. 'Cause he'll get you 'cause I get mad. Born on the bayou, born on the bayou, born on the bayou. Wish I was back on the bayou, rolling with some Cajun queen. Wishing I were a fast freight train, took the children on down to New Orleans. Born on the bayou, born on the bayou, born on the bayou. Born on the bayou, born on the bayou, born on the bayou.
That's
Oh, right. Thank you, Lane Hardy and
Yes.
the 8 brass band for that. The hot 8-bat band. What a performance.
what a
Right?
performance. Micah, you got to see all that explosion and celebration up close.
Oh, love it. They may have missed a year, but they did not miss a beat.
Yes.
Correct. And the same with our next performers that are already lined up ready for you down on the boulevard. These guys really know how to do it right. They are one of the most exciting groups of equestrians in this year's parade, bringing a little bit of charro culture to Colorado Boulevard. Let's welcome back Los Hermanos Benuelos. The Hermanos, Spanish for brothers, were formed by Ramon Benuelos, his brothers, and a few friends. Back in 1995, they started performing their incredible roping and riding skills at rodeos. You'll see them doing that all the way down the 5-mile route today. They quickly expanded to championship competitions. How do they do that?
I don't know. I think it's magic.
It's so impressive, and they do it, with teams of horses and people around them and loud applause, and that's what our parade's about, and the crowd is loving that. It's like seeing an up-close magic trick when you see it
is.
happening.
Yes.
Ramon grew up in nearby Pasadena, and this is really what our parade's about. He and his brothers watch the parade every year. They dreamed that one day they would participate in the parade, and that dream came true in 2012.
Nice. They sat and waited for the entire performance before they moved. So thank you for hanging out waiting for us, fellas. All right, here is the winner of the Wrigley Legacy Trophy for Most Outstanding Floral Display Presentation, Float Design, and Entertainment. And that's the one you just saw Lane Hardy performing on. This is a wonderful float called Feed Your Soul. It is the life of the party in the Bayou State. In addition to that good food, Louisiana Travel is reminding us, yes, indeed, head to Louisiana and get yourself some good cooking.
Thank you.
Starting our tour is that American Idol winner and Louisiana owns Lane Hardy, and joining the Hot 8 brass band for Salute to, is it Nolans? I want to
Nolans.
say it the way they know it. It's Nolans, Mark.
I mispronounce so much on this parade that I just...
I think whatever, just
We tried.
It is the birthplace of jazz, I will tell you about that. We continue past a couple of carrot seed and sesame seed covered pelicans. That is the Pelican State, after all. A lush rendition of the bayou is highlighted by thousands of light and dark blue iris. And just breaking the surface of the water, Lisa, that's an alligator, not a crocodile.
Yeah, and there is a difference.
Yes.
Here are the new Buffalo Soldiers, an incredible troop who've made it their mission to educate the public about the contributions of black soldiers throughout American history. The new Buffalo Soldiers were organized in 1992 to spotlight Company H 10th Cavalry, which helped settle the American West. In recent years, the group expanded to include the 3rd U.S. Cavalry colored troops who fought in the Civil War and the 92nd and 93rd Divisions from World War I. As members of Company H 10th Cavalry, the Buffalo Soldiers were in fact instrumental in the settling of the American West. They battled rustlers and thieves. They protected settlers. They guarded railroads and stagecoaches and wagon trains from the bad guys. Company H was created immediately after the Civil War and was quietly disbanded in 1944. But we welcome the new Buffalo Soldiers here on the first day of 2022.
Always nice to see them, Micah. Now, in an effort to demonstrate the importance of learning social and emotional skills, 3 boats filled with compassionate people on this float have set out to teach those skills to others. This one's from the Lions Club. It wins the Leishman Public Spirit Trophy. They call it Quest for Kindness. I'll give you some details now. The trio of boats is sailing on the turbulent sea of emotions made up of roses, blue iris, and lavender carnations. They get a beacon of help from a lighthouse built with straw flowers, mums, and brown coffee. And they get a helping hand from not one, but 2 of the Lion Club's iconic lion mascots. Those little cuties are sporting coats of pampas grass, straw flower, and reddish light palm fiber.
All right, so I'm just watching this massive band make the corner and how in step they are. What do you get when you combine large band sound, precision marching as these guys, and an actually ranked color guard? You get what you're looking at right now, the Arcadia Apache Marching Band and Color Guard. Let's see if we can take just a moment and open the mics and hear their sound. Students, by the way, it's 245 members strong. Also participated in Arcadia Heights' 3 other bands. They have 3, not 1, but 3. The Symphonic, the Concert, and the Wind Ensemble. Let's give a shout out to that color guard as well. They are one of more than 500 color guards from all over the world who come together to compete in the annual Winter Guard International World Championships that is held each year in Dayton, Ohio.
They are focused. There is so much precision.
Yes.
And don't they look sharp on a beautiful day?
They're also TV stars. Probably didn't know this, but they were on Let's Make a Deal, as well as a commercial that aired in the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl 49. And if you're like me, you're going, okay, which Super Bowl who played? Who won that one? Every time that happens, I gotta do it. So I didn't look it up. It was the great one that was with New England, of course. The Patriots have been most of them. But it's the year they beat Seattle 28-24. Amazing come from behind game. That was back in 2015.
Thank you for the stats, Mark.
You know.
Did you know that California produces 80% of the world's almonds? We can tell you most of them are grown by Blue Diamond growers who present this float from our hearts to your hands. The float transports us to a Blue Diamond orchard where the almond trees are in full blossom, ready for harvest. There are baskets teeming with Blue Diamond products, including almond breeze.
The stylized almond trees are covered in a combination of crushed almond shells, no surprise there, as well as coconut, split peas, parsley flakes, and yellow and green roses. That vintage truck you see, painted with blue straw flower and status, is filled to the brim with sacks of harvested almonds, which represent a successful fall almond harvest.
And horses right behind them, according to Marshal Jennifer Macias-Sweeney, this group of equestrians is more than just a drill team. They are an extreme drill team. We're so glad they're here. They're from Folsom, California. They are the Painted Ladies Rodeo Performers. They got together in 1993. The Painted Ladies and their American paint horses have been the #1 equestrian entry at the Folsom Pro Rodeo for 23 years. Their fame has also earned them recognition in the book Land of the Free, as well as, these are TV stars too, Mark. They were in TV's The Mentalist. And by the way, on their costumes, the rhinestones those are not just crystals, those are Swarovski crystals, so that's an extremely high quality glass crystal that gives them great clarity and that extra special bling, sparkle.
You know, I could almost just be a participant and just step back and watch this brood. Look how beautiful they are. They are so pretty, and the horses so elegant.
There's a regalness, right? And there's a dignity.
There really is. Now, for all the kids out there, you need to get close to your television set. Look at these puppets. This is the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance with their very first entry, and I hope it's not their last, because Creating Wildlife Allies is the name of this one, and it is a reminder that conservation begins with us, all of us, people. Visitors to the San Diego Zoo are very familiar with those incredible puppets on the street. Led by that 15-foot lion, there are flamingos, giraffes, there's a cute rhino pack as well. The San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance consists of San Diego Zoo, Safari Park, and animal rescue organizations from all over the world. So let's look at that rhino for a second. Decorated with pink straw flower and status, it symbolizes the safari park. The lion represents the founding of the zoo, which happened over 100 years ago. It's wearing a blend of orange and peach lentils, and blue status was used to create the plumage on that condor you see there. It's all in a tribute to the more than 250 California condors that are currently in the wild thanks to this conservation effort.
That one's fun. The puppets are really getting the crowd going.
Yeah. Engaged with those the little ones. I mean, just magic. Look at that.
How much fun is that?
Oh. The San Diego. Yeah. Look at that condor.
These blue status wings. It's funny, Micah said earlier that some of the colorations are closely guarded formulas where they literally blend a lot of this organic material to come up with colors that we just don't see.
Yeah, it's a recipe. It truly is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, proprietary, I suppose, in some cases. Hey, friends, we're always excited to see a band making their Rose Parade debut. And here is one of them coming to us from the great state of Iowa, featuring students from 2 high schools. It's the Waukee Schools Combined Band. This band moment is brought to us thanks to Wells Fargo. Members from Waukee High School's Warrior Regiment and the Northwest Royal Brigade from the newly opened Waukee Northwest High School. The combined band plays a huge role, as you might imagine, in Waukee civic functions. They appear in local parades and evening concerts at the town gathering point, which, by the way, is not a town square, but the way they've designed it as the Waukee Triangle. So you figure a 3-sided version of what in your mind's eye would be a town square. They are one of the fastest growing towns in America. Waukee's population jumped from 8,000 to more than 20,000 in the last decade. So quite a jump. But to think of, these relative small town friends of ours coming all the way across the country to sunny Pasadena, many of them for the first time, and seeing this moment and experiencing